Guys, welcome everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Just want to say thanks to everyone for coming. Obviously, we know it's January. See a few of you there. Probably not adhering to that.
Who's not drinking then? Who's on dry January?
Great effort. Staying strong. Love that. Spent all your money over Christmas, so listen, we're really grateful that everyone's come out tonight. Assuming everyone here's listened to the podcast. Yeah, anyone not listened to the podcast, might be a long night for you then.
Have you got it on YouTube? Have you watched it on YouTube? Yeah. Andrew, if you've watched it on YouTube. I don't know, mate.
As you can tell, it's like Sam's bugbear, that one. Everyone's got to get on YouTube. Nearly unfriended me on Facebook for not going on YouTube. Yeah, so anyone want to shout out their favourite podcast? Can anyone think of a favourite podcast or a guest in particular that they thought's been brilliant? Go on, don't be shy.
Drew Borden.
Anyone?
Was my favourite.
Michael Bridges.
Yeah, good one. Yeah.
That was the one that Dave didn't come to, so...
That's the one I don't remember. We got so drunk on the way back. Anyone else? Any particular episode or?
Good old Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
It was a classic, wasn't it?
Yeah, we have a bit of a soft spot for him, don't we?
We'll try and get him on again, won't we? I think for follow-up. We had a bit of an issue, didn't we? Because it all kicked off on TalkSport, didn't it? So.
Give us a bit of a telling off, didn't he?
Wary, isn't he, about...
Well, we were buzzing because it was on TalkSport.
Yeah, we started testing each other, going, we're on TalkSport, that's cool, isn't it?
So we were like, share it, retweet it, and then Joe sent us all a message going, lads, like, stop doing that, it's killing me, it's absolutely killing me.
Simon Jordan was going in for him, wasn't
That's it, yeah.
And Gav sharing it.
I was like, you'll be fine, Joe, you'll be fine. He's like, mate, seriously, stop doing that. So, yeah, we had to.
And we had the good bit that he had about with Gareth Southgate, about how Gareth Southgate left him out of England. And he rang us and he said, you're going to have to cut that bit out. I was like, don't be daft, you'll be alright. Like, as if I've got any sort of authority about telling you if you're alright or not.
But it was on the next episode, wasn't it? So we did 3 parts with Joe. Second part came out where he's talking about Nuno and Spurs. That blew up. And the last one was the gold, wasn't it?
That was the best one, wasn't it? That when he said like how Southgate rang him and left him out.
Don't repeat this.
Yeah, Southgate rang him and left him out. And he did like 3 or 4 minutes on it, and it was brilliant. We were like, that's gold, that, you know, that will make us, instead of being the second biggest thing, where was the second biggest? Uganda, would have been the biggest.
Yeah.
But then we had to pull it, didn't we, which is the biggest.
Yeah. The context of that was he had played 9 of the 10 qualifiers for the World Cup campaign. Is it World Cup? Yeah, World Cup campaign. And he was rested on the other one. They'd already qualified, and then he got a phone call on the beach on his holiday before the trip. And he was in the leadership group, wasn't he? There's 3 of them in the leadership group
in England.
Typically in football clubs, a manager will have senior players who make up their sort of senior leadership group, and he was part of it, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he just got a phone call.
I don't think we had that at Shrewsbury. Maybe I had one in it.
Yeah, I just don't think they told you, mate.
Yeah.
Tolly definitely wasn't in it.
Tolly you weren't in it.
No way.
You wouldn't have been in it.
You were as far from it as you can imagine. So anyway, guys, just wanted to say thanks so much for coming out tonight. We appreciate it's just after Christmas, but obviously with the upcoming game on Sunday, we wanted to give everyone the opportunity to come out and discuss.
Oh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous already by that.
You don't do this for your golfing podcast?
What?
If you don't realise, Dave's moonlighting, trying to do golf. If you haven't listened to it, don't bother, it's rubbish. This one.
Please subscribe.
Hey, you've watched that on YouTube. Oh, you've watched that on YouTube, have you? Oh, okay. That's a piss take. Let's talk about it. You remember, what's it called again? The three part. What's it called?
Come on, at the par 3 golf on YouTube, please subscribe.
But what was the name going to be? Do you remember? You messaged me and Sam, didn't you?
In the bunks. Yeah. I'm always in the bunker. In the bunks.
So he sent me and Sam a message going, "Well, I'm going to do this podcast with golf," and I was like, right. I was fuming straight away, when you weren't too bad. You quite laid back, weren't you?
Well, it's just like, be what it be, wasn't it?
And he said, "Do you mind if we call it In the Bunks?" And I went into a proper sulk about it.
Yes, I put, mate, that's fine, enjoy yourself. You put, yes, I do mind.
To be like, a bit inappropriate, I'll be honest. And then obviously it was all a joke, but I said, yeah, of course, mate, do what you want, and then he changed the name anyway. So just for the record, I was fine with it.
I don't like the name.
How are we feeling anyway, lads? All right? I feel a bit nervous as well.
Yeah, nervous for this. I'm nervous for Sunday. Terrifying.
It's a different nervous though, isn't it? Like the theatre. Hands up here if you were at the Theatre 7. Hands up.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, love that. Amazing. Hopefully one of them come in next year. We'll speak more about that another time.
Nope.
But
I reckon.
It's hard work, wasn't it?
And Theatre 7, annoyingly, took a massive cut of everything, didn't he? I know I'm not worried about that. terms of integrity, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Took like 7% of, was it 7.5% of every ticket? So
you know exactly what it was. You haven't let it go.
I ended up like I went full into the head teacher mode, didn't I? I emailed. I went and met with the head of the manager of the Theatre 7. I was like questioning how he does his business and everything. He's just like, but they've got it boxed off, haven't they? So in the end, they just said, well, take it or leave it. And I was like, okay then, send you the money.
And then to top off the insult, they made more money over the bar, didn't they, than any other event they've had in history.
They made $6.5 grand on the bar that night.
Well done, you bunch of alcoholics out there.
The most ever, that is.
Yeah. But it would be, wouldn't it? They're not making that doing
So if we do another one, we've got a bit of a pull then, haven't we? Because we could say that our fans, supporters, will go out and bleed the bar dry. Yeah. We might have a bit of a say.
Tell you what I need to say as well, thank you to our Budgeon, our sponsors. We've got, Budgeon, are you standing up or are you not?
No. Oliver and James from Budgeon.
Oliver and James from Budgeon. Thanks very much for supporting us for the last 3 series now, haven't we? Thank you very much, we appreciate that. And without that, we wouldn't have all this fancy equipment that we now have, that we didn't have in Series 1.
We put the signs up as well, haven't we? For the event,
yeah, all the signs and everything, yeah. Decent.
I wasn't with that home screen, I didn't realise that when I come in. Look how aggressive out there, and I'm tackling Darren Kempson. It was like a right meathead. Remember Darren Kempson?
Yeah, I used to dominate him. No, that's a different Kempson. He's not here, is he?
You're thinking of Claire Kempson. So how do you feel about the event, lads? Dave, a little bit nervous?
Yeah, it always is. It's not nice. Everyone always says playing football, that's surely more nerve-wracking. You play in front of however many people, but you've got people to look after you, and I don't trust you two looking after me tonight.
Do you know what I was saying about you playing for Wales and playing in front of 60,000, and I asked them to come do an assembly at school, my previous school. No, they tuned in front. I said, come do an assembly in front of a couple of hundred kids. You went, you're joking, I could never do that. That's terrifying. Like you played in front of 65,000, like in Slovakia or wherever. It's like, couldn't come do an assembly in front of 200 kids. I was like, what's that?
It is completely different though, isn't it? It is.
Yeah. And even tonight, even though there's familiar faces, and obviously it's great seeing you guys at the bar and all of the above, it's still like there's that little bit of fear in there, isn't there, about we want to put on a good show.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell you how we structured the evening. Obviously, we've ended up waffling on as normal, but we'll talk a little bit about how we think the season's gone so far for Shrewsbury Town as well. We'll talk a little bit about that. Dave will sit on the fence because he's got his column for Shropshire Star, so I'll turn his microphone off there because he's not going to say anything controversial, is he? He's playing the long game. Gav's always hoping for a little Shrewsbury Town job in the future, so he won't say anything. But I'll give my opinion. Then we'll get out our guests who are sat waiting in the wings over there. Then we'll have a break, hopefully get to the bar. Like I said, we need £1,000 behind the bar, don't we? For you to get your deposit back.
Yeah. My deposit.
Well, Gav's collectively. Yeah. And then we'll go through some of the games. I think there's been about 7 games in the last 7 years, and I think collectively the 6 of us have all been involved in them and scored goals and had incidents and been involved and done various.
When you say you've been involved, there's a couple which you were just there, wasn't it? It was not necessarily involved.
We'll come on to that in a little bit. Yeah, I think. Are you referring to the last one? Yeah, V Wrexham. Yeah. Okay, that's all.
I'll tell you, a great one was obviously with this.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here. This is I've got this in the script. For if you look at the script,
you told me to tell them this. So in light of the build-up of this, obviously we're thinking about appropriate guests, people who are really going to light the night up. No pressure, lads. But we obviously got the guests for tonight, and then we were really surprised that a Shrewsbury Town legend in Steve Biggins came through the door. He's here tonight playing football. Still at that one.
He was on the pods, wasn't he?
Yeah, literally out here having a kickabout. So he strolls in. me and Dave were having a chat with him, and Dave just flippantly went, "Oh, did you ever play against Wrexham or anything, Steve?" And he just went, "Yeah, I think I'm the only one to ever score a hat-trick against Wrexham." Oh, okay, no problem. He just flippantly said it. So we've been trying to get him down here,
but begging him to come back. He was absolutely drenched through, just been playing football, and he just didn't want to come, but you wouldn't leave him alone.
Yeah, and he was going, "I can't." I was going, "Seriously, what time are you coming back?" And he wasn't having any.
I said, "Just come back in half an hour. I'll cancel Tolly. I'll tell the turn around. Like, it's not a problem." I said, "Get him back. Get him back." But anyway, he hasn't had it. But he said he'd come on a podcast. I think it'd be a great one. We need to listen to someone like that. I mean, what an absolute class act. He's still playing. He's playing football in the pods before.
He's even messaged me and you, Dave, hasn't he? Apologising he can't come. And
he was actually my coach, you know. You ever coached? No, he wasn't in the first one. Was it under 17s he coached me? Did he ever coach you, Tom? Biggo?
No, we never coached, but that hat-trick was a perfect hat-trick that he scored.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Biggo did catch Tolly, but Biggo's pretending he didn't.
Anyway, Shrewsbury Town this season, Sam. You give your opinion if you're controversial.
Well, obviously, well, not controversial, it's probably what my boys, my two boys, I was like, you want to go to the game on Saturday? I went, not really, Dad. And I went, what are you joking? He's like, it's your team, isn't it? I went, yeah, it's just not very exciting, is it? And I thought, that is a wonderful summing up of what the season's been like. Now, I'm not blaming anybody particularly for that. I think it's been a really difficult season, and I think obviously I've got a good friend of mine, Ryan Loves of Preston. He's got a similar problem, that looking for a bit of magic and a bit of flair, and they're just lacking that at the moment, aren't they? And Daniel Lador getting injured, massive for us. I know he's a friend of ours as well, isn't he? But he was, he's a little bit of class, and I just think, I don't know, it's hard to get excited about it at the moment, isn't it? I mean, that was a big win. That I think that 3-1. I think you'd all agree with that, wouldn't it? And I think that's probably might have saved Matthew's job. I don't know.
Did you go in there on Saturday?
No, we don't know. I wanted to,
but my lad was the same as well. But I dragged him there in the end. But yeah, it was a massive win. They actually played well. I thought it's the best I've seen them play this season. They had a little bit of intensity about them, and they went after them a little bit. And I was just praying they won, because they've lost 4 on the bounce, and it's been pretty dire, hasn't it? And imagine going into that Wrexham game losing 5 on the bounce.
They needed that win, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you know my thoughts on it as well. I think last year.
I don't really thoughts on it.
You always tune out when I start talking. I just feel as though there's been a massive transition. I feel like they need time, and I get it. We're halfway through the season now, going into the business end of the season, but there's been massive changes at the club, hasn't there? And I think, you're now talking, everybody wanted to restructure from the Cotterill days. You've got an old school manager. We need to scrap that. We need a director of football, a young manager. Everybody's got what they seemed, the majority got what they wanted. I think just a little bit of time, a little bit of perspective, give them a chance just to get into a bit of rhythm and start, again, a couple of transfer windows maybe. Because one transfer window, I mean, you're still up against everybody else, aren't you? You need a couple of transfer windows.
What's crazy is you look at last season, which was deemed a success, I think, under Steve Cotterill. And at this point, they are pretty much bang on what they were at that point.
What did you say? You said 2 weeks ago that were they literally
identical, it was absolutely identical. Points per game would have got them finishing exactly on what they finished on last season. But for some reason, it just doesn't feel like they're as good as what they were last season. I don't know what it is. There's just something which feels like
magic,
I don't know, they're 13th in the table. It doesn't feel like we're a 13th team. Something's not quite adding up, is it? But he has had some injuries, a lot of injuries, the manager has. But they are missing some quality. When you look at last season, who's left? Luke Lee, he's gone. The boy they had on loan, Keelan Phillips, his name? Matty Pennington's gone.
But doesn't it make it even a better job though, Dave? Doesn't it make like the fact that they've lost these players and they're still maintaining that level?
And all those players have gone to either back to, or they've gone to bigger clubs, or supposed bigger clubs. And then we brought in, we had punts really on boys from the League of Ireland, from all over the place. So that's what makes me think that he's done a decent job. But he was definitely under pressure on Saturday, I think.
So on the flip side then, obviously Shrewsbury, obviously we said how we feel around that. Obviously Wrexham in a very different sort of momentum at the moment. I know they're a league below, aren't they? It doesn't really feel like that, does it? They're a very good side.
Hawley's just told me what some of the Wrexham lads are getting paid, and I didn't realise they were getting paid what they're getting paid. So I mean, I think we've had this argument, haven't we? If you're paying big money, you buy that quality, don't you? You get that fantastic centre forward, or that number 10, or that winger. And if you're Wrexham and you're offering that, and Shrewsbury are offering a third of that or a quarter of that, unfortunately, where the lads going to go?
But it's a bit of a no-win, isn't it, for Shrewsbury? Because if they win the game, obviously they beat a team from a lower level. But if they get beat, the management will get fed to the Wolves.
On the flip side, I do think it's also the perfect tie, because of the rivalry, that evens it out a little bit. But you're playing a third-round tie, you're selling out at home against a team who's supposedly lower than you. They won't be favourites for the game, Shrewsbury, I don't think, with the bookies. But I don't know, what an amazing chance to get to the fourth round. Yeah,
I looked at the head-to-head. Obviously, me doing a bit of research. You two,
pretty much.
Your research is normally wrong. Ask Thomas Sorensen.
Shrewsbury won 21 games, so it's absolutely equal. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Did you know that?
I think you're wrong.
The fact you've got near your computer probably makes me think that you're that.
You carry on talking, I'll keep searching.
So obviously we know Wrexham, you know, big time at the moment, a different level of momentum. What do we feel about, obviously, the rivalry? Because, again, everybody has a different... I speak to a lot of Shrewsbury fans, I've spoken to Wrexham fans. It was interesting to see what you hear what you were saying earlier, Dave, when you were listening to another podcast about how Wrexham regard us as a big... Shrewsbury Town as a big rivalry. What do we feel about that rivalry? Is it a genuine one?
I played for Wrexham in my first game for Wrexham. It was against Chester. So that was massive. I think Wrexham v Chester for Wrexham's a bigger game. I mean, I might have that wrong.
But with Chester at the moment, that's a little bit like Shrewsbury Telford. Telford are sort of way down the leagues. Chester are way down the leagues. Really, I say way. It's a couple of divisions, but we know what we mean by that. Does that make this more intense?
I think it's massive.
Massive.
I was listening to a podcast in the week where Jamie, you went on a Wrexham podcast. And they spoke about your Shrewsbury
How
connection.
much stuff's Jamie doing for Wrexham ahead of this?
He's having a right go. He's having a right go.
I'd be interested to get him up here and see if he wants to win on Sunday.
But the actual Wrexham fans were saying, was it a difficult decision given how big the rivalry is? And that was from Wrexham fans. I thought that was quite telling, because I always thought it was more from the Shrewsbury side, who really didn't like Wrexham. But yeah, I do think they feel it the other way.
They're relishing it, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
But you would do, if I was playing for Wrexham in League 2, coming to a local rivals a year, like league above, what an opportunity, isn't it? To
Huge.
really love to play. Huge. I think the Shrewsbury lads will be a little bit nervous about that. You've got everything to lose. Wrexham lads, I think.
I would love to be playing on Saturday. On Sunday.
I would love you to be playing, Dave, and I'd bring me kids if you were playing.
See some of these clips. I'd love you to be playing, Dave.
No, but you'd be exactly the same. It's the one game which just always felt different, and I'm not. Since I've retired, I've not been envious about any games or anything. I went to a Wales game not long ago where they played Turkey at the Cardiff City Stadium, and I went to watch my lad, and that's probably the first time when they were sort of coming up. I thought, I'd love to be playing, but this game in particular as well, I just feel like, yeah, I'm a little bit envious.
And doesn't it give Shrewsbury, like, again, I think we're agreed that the favourites for me would probably be Wrexham in terms of the teams on the pitch, but doesn't it level it out anyway, regardless of who the favourites are, with it being a derby, with all of the passion and the emotion that will be flying around, doesn't it even it out like every derby?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love to beat Wrexham though, Sunday.
Yeah.
Why did you sign for Wrexham, Sam? How did that come about?
Well, the shortness of that is I was playing for Northampton at the time. I was travelling to Northampton every day.
2 hours?
And Madeline, my daughter at the back, who's been doing the tickets, was only little at the time. And Wrexham come in for me with Brian Little and actually offered me a better deal than I was getting in Northampton. I was driving to Northampton every day. I was like, it's an absolute no-brainer. So that's like the family side of it that people don't see. Just, why would you sign for your local rivals? And I was like, well, because it's nearer my home, nearer my family. I'm not driving 2 hours every day. I'm driving 45 minutes.
Because you had the chance, Dave, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Specifically asked me not to ask that question.
It's got hot.
Dave, the conversation we had was, come on, let's get it out there. Your agent was in, like, spoke to you and said that it was interesting. And what did you say?
When I left Shrewsbury, when Steve Cox was there and he didn't want me anymore. My agent was asking me, what do you want to do? Do you want us to try and get your name out there? And I was like, no, I think that's me done. I'd struggled with injuries and things like that. And he said, well, would you consider Wrexham at the time? We're in the conference, but going well. He said, I know it's local. Would you consider Wrexham? And no.
Hey! This is going to be an awkward interview with Tolly in a minute.
No, I was thinking of the long game, as you can say.
Yeah. But like you rightly say, though, like Sam, it's interesting what you say, because we've spoken about it a lot on the podcast, for people who have listened, Holty. Essentially, it's one of them for you, where you've had to make a family decision there, but for you, Dave, you were coming to the end, there was no real pressure for you to sign for another football club. I mean, you went into Wales to play part-time or whatever, but there wasn't really any pressure. Do you think it would have been different? And again, obviously, I know this is
like,
if you'd have had the pressure to make sure that you needed, like, you know, to carry on being full-time, and like if that was an absolute, the only club that wanted you, obviously it makes it different. Listen, I don't want you to answer that, of course, but it makes it different, doesn't it? It was made easy for you, but it was obviously a decision that you'd want to be in control of.
For probably 90% of people who play football, it's a job and you've got to look after your livelihood. I was very fortunate that it was kind of the end of my career and I maybe had a little bit more choice of what I was going to do next.
Definitely.
It was still been hard though, so.
I think for you though, isn't it? Like you say, you moved into Wrexham. You didn't have to do that, though, did you? Yeah. Like I think for me, I was like, you know, I got a couple more offers, but they were like, I was Yeovil and so I was all over the place. So for me, it just made sense. And I think, how would it have been received if you signed for Wrexham? Would you have been held in the same? And it's funny that because I had a brilliant relationship with Shrewsbury fans, and it was brilliant. Every time I came back, it was fine. But then I played in that Wrexham game. I mean, we'll talk about it in the second half, and we'll have on the screen 2008. It was, and I sort of come back, and I was all like blasé about it, and I was looking forward to coming back. And I thought it'd be nice to see the Shrewsbury fans, and I got hammered by it. I got booed. They called my name out. I got booed. I was playing on the far side, which like obviously was the new stadium. It wasn't the other side. I was on that left hand side, and I was getting like dog's abuse on the side there. And I thought, it's mental. And some of the people I didn't recognise. Some of you were probably sitting here today. Some of them I'd had a pint with the Dunkau, and I was like, oh, what's happening here? But it just showed the fierceness of that rivalry. And I remember, I don't know whether we saw loud, but it was whatever it was a big game. And I was like, whoa, and I think that's what brought it home to me, the rivalry. And I thought, wow. And then after that, everybody seemed all right, but just for that one day, I thought it was real hatred, and I thought,
I was everyone feeling about Sunday. You confident? No, nervous.
I think we all are, aren't we? I think all of us just feel nervous because it's a brilliant draw and it's an exciting draw, but it's also the worst draw you can get because the last thing we want is for them to come up here and do us like 2 or 3 nil.
Does anyone want to give us some score predictions or even give us a little bit of their opinion about Shrewsbury so far? We said then it'd be nice to kind of get everyone's feedback.
Yeah,
we sat here talking about Shrewsbury, but you guys go every
Is anybody feeling really positive about Shrewsbury Town at the moment then? Has anybody got a good argument for how well they're doing at the moment?
My mate Jack, just seen you there. You're a knowledgeable man. What's your prediction on the score?
I'll go draw.
Draw? Don't sit on the fence, mate, will you?
I think if you were sitting in a Wrexham pub now, they'd be like, we'll win this 3-0, 4-0. I think we all feel a little bit tentative about it, don't we?
But again, don't you think it's a little bit of a no-win for Shrewsbury? Expected really higher league, expected. Whereas if they come here and get beat, we go, yeah, well, we'll see you next year.
But you love it, don't you? You love it as if you're an underdog in the FA Cup. You know, when we were Shrewsbury and we played Everton, didn't we, in Chelsea? It's the best draw you can get. Like if you're Everton, you get drawn Shrewsbury away. You get that draw comes out of you.
Equivalent of Shrewsbury getting drawn away at Histon, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
That was infamous if anybody was there. You playing that one, Tom? Yeah. Were you involved in the fight in the dressing room afterwards? We always, of course, we were.
Liar.
You know, and that's what it feels a little bit like.
The one saving grace is we've got an unbelievable record on the FA Cup the last 7-8 years. It's phenomenal compared to what our league form's been. So you've got to take some hope from that.
I can't wait to hear what Andy Morell's got to say about Wrexham and their thoughts on Shrewsbury. That's the reason I've come tonight. Nah, I don't believe that.
I'll be disappointed if he doesn't. Right, come on then. We're going to get some guests up anyway.
Yes, yeah. So we're going to get them all up together, aren't we? But I'll introduce them separately. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right. So first guest.
I've sent you up the script, lads, 4 days ago. Like you've had plenty of time. That's what I'm dealing with all the time, honestly.
Right.
What we do about him.
First guest. Over 300 club appearances for Shrewsbury, Macclesfield, Hereford, Wrexham and Mansfield Town. A box-to-box goal scoring and self-proclaimed tough tackling midfielder.
Generous. He sent you that and he said, WhatsApp, put that in.
He represented Wales under 21s on 12 occasions.
He hasn't mentioned it much.
and he was the scorer of one of the greatest international goals to be scored at Ninian Park.
Now, we haven't got footage. We haven't got footage. It's that long ago.
Jamie Tolley.
Yeah.
Might have come dressed as a vicar, but he's fooling no one.
Our second guest started his career at non-league Newcastle Blue Star whilst attending Northumbria Uni before securing a move to Wrexham, where he's had a prolific partnership with Lee Trundle. So prolific, he got a move to Coventry, where he got off to a great start with 9 goals in 19 games for the Sky Blues. Moved on to Blackpool and Bury, reignited his goal-scoring touch. Then he moved back to the racecourse, where he saw him hit the ground running in terms of goals before succeeding Dean Saunders for his first stint in management as a player-manager, leading them to the FA Trophy win and a narrow playoff final exit. Stints in management and playing in non-league followed by being remembered as a legend across the border. It is Andy Morrell.
Our final guest played 475 league games in his career. He played on loan for Shrewsbury Town against Wrexham. He played in that season where we got relegated. He then played 86 times for Wrexham, scoring 10 goals, and he actually played for Wrexham when they won the Football League trophy in 2005 at the Millennium Stadium. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. He was amazing in the air with a long throw. He describes himself as a Premier League player from the chest. But from the waist down, he's middle of League One, top of League Two at best. It is Andy Hurst. Andy and Andy, you need to remember to turn your mics on. Dave said, I said, Dave, can you not get one where they don't need to do that? He said, he's not capable of doing that yet. I said, well, we'll find someone next time.
See when he's gone.
Yeah. Everyone, you got your mic on there, mate?
2, 2, 2, 1, 2.
Things with the bingo. I'll start with Andy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? Brilliant.
Cool.
Mate, welcome back to Shrewsbury Town.
Go on, yes.
Nice little introduction there.
Very good. Just tell us, can I just tell you, tell everybody about what the situation at Shrewsbury then. It's obviously Wrexham and Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
So what was his role at Shrewsbury? What was his role at Shrewsbury, Andy?
I was assistant manager for a couple of months under Jacko.
And this is all in one question.
At the end of 2014, I left Wrexham in February. Jacko rang me up and said, "Are you doing anything?" Obviously not. We were talking about why you went and signed for Wrexham. I had nothing to do. I had no job. I needed a job. And I thought I'd love to have a go with an assistant manager rather than the manager's role, the pressure of the manager's role. So Jacko asked me to come down and we tried to stay in the league that year, but
Agent Morrell.
failed.
She said that, didn't we? Secret agent. No, I love it. So obviously your allegiance is like across the border. Listen, get that. What was it like coming here as the assistant manager? Obviously having being such a legend across there, and then having to come here, and like you say, again, a little bit like Sam's story, like so many of us have had to do. You know, you need a job.
I sort of forgot about it as well. You know, when I got off the job, I was just like, I just need a job. I just need to go. And I thought, working with Jacko as well, I knew how professional he was, how good he was as a leader, because I played with him for a couple of years at Blackpool. He was a great guy as well. And I thought, well, if I can go there and maybe keep them in the league, it's another little thing on my CV sort of thing, and you never know where it might lead at the end of the month. I only came in till the end of the season at first. And it was very mixed. The players that we had a load of loanies. I think the churning loans were a lot. And you know, you look back and reflect on what you did when you were here. I tried to lift the mood a little bit. I was trying to be the jolly one, get them up, because we weren't doing that great. And Jacko was the tactician, which he was very good at. Just looking back, we were maybe too defensive-minded, as in we were worried about the opposition too much, rather than us having an identity and going and sticking our authorities on it. Because we had some decent players, we were just
Who did you have Andy at the time? Who you played?
Connor Goldson, who was outstanding. You know, I watched him on the weekend actually in the Celtic Rangers game. He was alright, John. He's smacking it up there. We had Harry.
Ryan Woods, was he there? Woodsy, Ryan Woods, was he there?
Yeah, Ryan Woods, I was looking at, I'll try to look in the car park before I remember.
Good to see you doing some research.
Yeah. So, he was class.
Yeah,
but he was young at the moment. You know, when we had him, he was just coming to the team in and out. But we never got any real momentum going. We never had a goal scorer that was Sam Foley. We had people like that going, but it just never really clicked, and we just couldn't get that amount of points. We actually did all right. We had a great draw away at Wolves, point away at Wolves, and we should have won it. We nicked it in the last minute because we had our big striker, Tom Eaves. Yeah.
Knowledge down here is unbelievable, isn't it?
Shrewsbury encyclopedia.
Yeah, he could have gone round and I went a bit mad in the change room stuff. But and then we went to Preston and we sort of provisionally got given the job verbally by the chairman on the way up, like you know, if you want it for next season. And then we got beat 5-2 up at Preston. I think the chairman just got booed more out the group and that, and it soon quickly changed. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the defeat, but you have to go with what you've got. We just couldn't change the mentality. We couldn't change the players because we pretty much had all the loans that we possibly out there. We just couldn't get any fresh bodies in to just give us that kick to get us over the line.
Wow, so I mean, you had 2 stints over at Wrexham, obviously starting off, right? We were looking at your goal scoring record.
I was just saying before when I asked, because obviously I did do some research. I was watching the Shrewsbury Wrexham, some of the highlights of the games, and you scored against Shrewsbury, and it said Andy Morell's 29th goal of the season, and it was, I think it was in March or something like that.
Yeah.
So what did you end up getting that season?
I got 34 league goals there.
That's got the top in Europe, isn't it?
Yeah,
34 league goals.
That was top league, EFL and Prem in the country at that time. So
More than the rest of the country.
I hadn't played for the previous 2 years. I was in and out. I was the one that got thrown in as a striker to be then brought out after 2 games after you give him a kick up the backside to the striker that was paid a lot of money. Do you know what I mean, to do his job? And then Dennis Smith sort of took over, and it was a big sort of swinging. I was seen as the guy that I got from non-league, and when Dennis came in, I was sort of put as one of the 4 at the start in pre-season for that season. And I remember the first game away was at Scunthorpe, and I didn't think I was starting, and I started. They gave me the number 11 shirt, which was in the top, you know, the Swans. Yeah, so I felt made me feel better. So I thought I was in his plans. And then we played, and I scored from 6 inches away off the studs at the back post, and just the confidence when
6 inches is more than enough, Andy.
and the confidence just went, and it just went on there. I was like 17 before Christmas. I went 3 or 4 weeks without scoring in the middle. Then Dennis Smith took me out of the team for a cup game and just said, "Listen, don't worry. I'm just taking you out. You're playing. You will play." Because what you give the team, the goals doesn't matter for me, because you run about, you try your hardest. And that just gave me again the confidence off my shoulders, scored the next game, and it just went on, and we got promoted at the end of the year. I got 34, 39 in all competitions, which was decent. Yeah,
played a lot of games, and obviously you went on then in your second spell to be the player manager, and so you know the club really well. What do you make of obviously like the Hollywood effect over there at the moment with everything going on at Wrexham, and no doubt the Shrewsbury supporters will be like the slugs with salt on them. It's not. It's a very, very different place.
It is, and you have to remember that there's been 15 years of shit that we've just gone through to get to where we are. We've not been in the league. It's been tough. We've got close at times. We've been miles away. The club's been in all sorts of array with the fans taking over, then them not having really enough money to run it properly. They were in a couple of cup runs to help them out. So for me, the fans deserve this sort of thing. They're a club that it's a massive club. It is big. They've got fan base as they're proving now.
What was the attendance in the last game? Was it 15?
The new stand.
12.
Yeah, so it's not been done, but they've got temporary stand.
Yeah, so they've got like the 18th green at St Andrews behind the goal, which is 2,500. They've got 5,000 seat coming, but they just can't get a spade in the ground for a couple of bit. issues with an electric place for the flats and all sorts, so it's just taken longer than they thought. But they deserve it. To be fair, the two owners, the good thing about the two owners is they put the money in, which is fair enough, but what they have done is they said whatever they've said, they've done. And as a club, as a fan, as a player, they've done exactly what they've said they would do, and so
they've embraced the community, haven't they, as well?
Oh God, yeah. They just do little bits that you just think, oh, that's just gold. Do you know what I mean? You know, the two
And at
boys
first,
signed new deals New Year's Eve, well, it was 2024. You know, the two big hitters, Lee and Mullin, both signed, and they put it out at midnight on New Year's Eve. It's just quite clever what they do. They, you know, if there's a Just Giving page, one of the lads, an ex-player I played with, Mike Shaw, he had a bad accident now in Thailand, can't come back, and £1,000 each in the Just Giving page, both of them. Do you know what I mean? No airs and graces, they just wash it in, and that's there.
And at first, I think it feels a little bit for show, doesn't it? You think, oh, where's this going to go? Is it going to be sustainable? But they're so deep in it now, and they've committed so much to it, it feels like it's just going to continue.
Yeah, we watched them, if you've watched, I don't know, you've probably not even thought about it. But it's actually, it's an okay watch.
Read the room, Mozza.
The first game they go to is a Maidstone Maidenhead away, and they're sat at the back and they're watching, and they get beaten in the last minute 3-2, and they're like, they go back in their car and stuff. And then you watch them when they play Stockport in the semi-finals of the trophy, and Ryan Reynolds is up, he's in his hands, he's like, they're completely bought into it, and they are hooked, they can't get out now. Do you know what I mean? And they're following it up and backing it up with what they do with their money, and fair play to them, and it will continue. They're not short stay, you know, stands and all that, they are going for it.
How did you feel when they first took over? Because I thought about it more recently, because there's lots of talk about Shrewsbury takeovers and all that sort of stuff. If before the Wrexham thing happened, if Rob and Ryan would have turned up at Shrewsbury, I don't know how you would take it as a fan. You think, oh, this is just flash in the pan, is it?
Yeah, very sceptical, aren't you, as a fan and anybody, of any owner, I think, not just two Hollywood boys that I've never seen a round ball, you know, they're into the little ball or basketball or American football, but it was, one of them was, I can't believe you could take a team from here and get promoted and take them right to the top. That was the idea. Yeah, it can't happen because of the franchise.
They couldn't get their heads around it, could they? They were just like marvelling.
And then they go, oh right, it's going to cost quite a bit of money to do that, so I need millionaire Deadpool next to me with his money. They'd never met before, they've only had a couple of phone calls, they've not had met, and they've just come and they're like glue now, they're both of them, and fair play to them, they put the money in, and the fans, to be fair, have gone right behind them as well, and you, like you're saying, they're full house every week. Their away following they're averaging 1,600 away, so that's why they're all sold out here. That's third in League One.
Look at everyone's faces.
They're third in League One for away following, you know, in the league above. So they're fully behind it, and that makes a difference as well. You know, when you're playing a decent crowd and your own following, it certainly lifts you. It's going to be a good game on the weekend.
Yeah, of course. So on that then, obviously we've spoken in here, and there's a lot from a Shrewsbury perspective, but in terms of the Shrewsbury Wrexham rivalry, what's your take on that? Being a Wrexham player, a player manager, having scored in the fixture, like what's your take on the rivalry between the two teams and clubs?
Yeah, I didn't realise when I was a player how big it was until the two games we played in the season that we got promoted, and it was like carnage. The games were feisty, they were full at it. They were brilliant, weren't they? I told you, they were class. Right? And we had two good games against them in that season that we got promoted. I don't know. After looking at the game on the weekend, I think Wrexham will fully think that they've got every chance. Shrewsbury not in great form. The win on Saturday for Shrewsbury will help massively. You know, give them a little bit of confidence going into the game. But I think Wrexham will fancy themselves. They went to Cov, beat Cov last season in the FA Cup. They went to Sheffield, drew to Sheffield, and then took them to a replay. So they'll be full of confidence. They won't hold any.
A lot of big game players, haven't they? Got a lot of big game players.
Yeah, they've just got that bit of quality that because I watched them on the weekend, they went 1-0 down for 40 seconds, and then they were turgid for 40 minutes. It was awful. And then they go, 45 minutes, 47 minutes, 49 minutes, 3 goals, you 3-1 up at half time, and your manager's probably gone in to get his team already and doesn't even realise that it's 3-1 up, it's probably 1-1 or something. So they are Mullin, Lee, Stephen Fletcher, who's quality. You know, they've got.
I know Fletcher quite well, and I speak.
I've seen my old golf podcast.
What's it called again, Dave?
Actually, he was saying on that though, that there is an unbelievable atmosphere in the group that even if they go 1-0 down, they just don't. Doesn't matter. Everyone, the fans stay with them. They all believe they're going to get back in the game. And the amount of times they've come from behind is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. They're not brilliant at the back, but they just score so many goals at the other end that they are. You know, they're always in the game because he can turn like that and only pull a goal off for nothing, and you're back in the game and it lifts everybody. Do you know what I mean? And they've got quality. Ryan Barney, you boys will know.
Should never have let him go. I said that all the time.
We've had him on the podcast.
I can't believe how good he was last year.
Will he be playing Sunday, do you think, then?
He's just coming back
a bit early.
So he's back on the bench. He came on the front on the weekend.
I mean, he'll get a good reception from Shrewsbury fans, won't he? Because obviously he got released from Shrewsbury, didn't he? He hasn't made the decision.
Yeah.
Like
But he came in.
I didn't make the decision.
Yeah, he came in at the middle of last season, and I don't think he really expected to play because they had Anthony Ford, who was quality, Oxford. Got a little niggle and off he went by. And how good is he? One-on-one, just direct, and all he's looking to do is just go past and cross. And as a striker, you just think all day long. He must have set up so many.
He's a throwback, isn't he? He's a throwback, like old school.
Absolutely, yeah. Not one that cuts in and all that. He just cross.
But the annoying thing though, he was told to leave. Well, told to leave Shrewsbury. He was released because he didn't fit into a 3-5-2 system which Steve Copson didn't want to play. He plays wing back for Wrexham.
I played him wing back.
And you played him wing back.
So I played him wing back when he came on loan to me, and then when he went back, he said to me, I'm a bit concerned because they're playing 3 at the back. I said, that would be tearing the league apart. Barney playing right wing back for me, and then like you say,
Just didn't materialise.
No. But he is like a throwback, isn't he? So interesting.
So like great Shrewsbury Hearts coming through the youth team, and then the Wrexham fans are talking like that.
It's obviously his dad would be there, won't he? Dad's a big Shrewsbury fan.
Massive Shrewsbury fan, yeah.
Yeah, proper. So just to finish off then, Mozza, predictions for the game?
I heard him in the podcast over in Wrexham. He said 5-0 Wrexham.
but Mozza, don't you think that we've been speaking about, like the guy just mentioned there, we've all played in them games where it's easier to go into the games when you're playing against a team from a higher division when actually playing at a lower. It feels to me, and I know it's a real unique scenario, because although Wrexham are a league below, the more we talk, the more I feel like everybody is in agreement that Wrexham are probably the favourites. So shouldn't Shrewsbury feel quite confident going into it, knowing that actually everyone's expecting Wrexham to do it?
I think maybe if it was at Wrexham, but being at home, I think it makes it a completely different animal. So Wrexham can come and just go for it. If they go out, they've gone out to a team in a higher league. There's nothing really lost. They've got the league to go after. You know, I think if they beat Shrewsbury in their own backyard, I think that's
a 5-0 Wrexham, yeah? 5-0 Wrexham.
It'll be a good game. I can't believe it's not telling that's for me, you know. It's in some of the games on last night. This is going to be feisty people, fans. They won't let them play.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people that are not at the game that are desperate, would have liked to have seen it on TV.
Yes,
but well, listen, Mozza, thank you so much for coming.
Sorry, I've just got one thing. Obviously, when you were manager of Wrexham, weren't you, for a few years?
Yes.
So when you took over at Wrexham, you had a midfielder coming towards the end of his career called Jamie Tolley. What happened with him? Because I looked at the appearances after you joined as manager. For Tolley there was 0, so I don't want this to be awkward, but I just want you to talk you through what happened after that.
I didn't end his career for him.
Fantastic.
I don't know if I should speak first and come back to it, but no. What a player, what a guy. In the changing room, the best.
On the pitch though?
No.
Fuck the pitch!
No. But then, when you talk about team camaraderie, changing room, your togetherness, he was right in the middle of it. He was in the changes in the canteen all the time. Out on the pitch, he gave it as good as he got. He scored some belters for me as well, some really key goals for us. One made us a little bit Brentford away, an absolute stunner of a goal, and a celebration by the way as well. We can talk through that after. But yeah, I loved him to bits, having him around the place. He was great to manage and work with. And yeah, I had to get rid of him at the end, but his legs have gone.
Thank you, Andy. Roger, thanks so much for coming in this evening. I know that you're a busy guy and there's a lot going on. And thanks for coming into the Lions Den. Everyone, Andy Morrow.
Right, Jamie Tolley.
Hello,
Dave, mate.
Long time, mate.
I know. So you were one of the youngest players. Well, you were the youngest when you first played for Shrewsbury, weren't you? The youngest player to.
Yeah, I think
play?
it's only just
changed since then.
It's just gone now. Some lad.
Simba's come on then.
Yeah.
But before then, so talk to us about the start of your Shrewsbury journey. How old were you when you first joined? Was you academy, centre of excellence?
Yeah,
or?
so I was at Hereford in their school of excellence back then, and my dad and my uncle who were here tonight, they knew Jake. Yeah, my brother as well. And yeah, they knew Jake. Jake invited me to come up and just said, come and train with the School of Excellence. Came and trained with them, they signed me. And then it was a...
What age was that?
So that was, I think I was 15, 14, 15, yeah. And then Roger saw me playing, took me with the youth team when I was 15. And then it was a pretty speedy
Big thing that tall for a 15-year-old to be in the youth team. I mean, that's not normal. That doesn't happen.
No, it was because I was coming from Ludlow, which people will know what Ludlow's like. It's in the sticks. And I was playing with Luke Rogers, who was in the youth team. All people from Birmingham, so it was a real eye opener. And yeah, so I was still at school playing in the youth team with them lads. And then obviously when I left school in the May. Started training with the first team pretty rapidly, and then obviously made my debut, and then the rest is history, Dave, as they say.
You become like a bit of a cult hero of Shrewsbury fans.
He was your hero, Dave.
He's my hero, yeah. Many haircuts based on you. But when you look back over your career, Shrewsbury, was that the best time for you?
Yeah, I had some fantastic times. Even obviously we had the relegation mixed in with that, but we had some great games.
Good nights out as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we had some top nights. We had a great dressing room. We had a great core in the dressing room, great lads, and it was old school where everyone would go and have a pint afterwards. Which it's not like that nowadays. So, well, you know, Dave, the changing room. You've probably seen the change.
Yeah.
The changing room changes drastically. So back then, it was probably a really good time in my life, in my career. Played some massive games when you look back on it. The FA Cup games that we played, the playoff game at Stoke, where I scored the penalty. By the way, I can't believe I had to pay for a ticket for the game.
Jamie came to me, I went, "Hey Jamie, you alright?" He went, "Mate, I'm fuming. He went, I went, "What's my say? Have you got a ticket for the game?" He went, "I've got a ticket for the game Sunday." I went, "Oh, you've been lucky then. I've had to pay for it." And I went, "Yeah, so you should pay." I didn't know. Tell me exactly what you said to me.
What did I say?
He said he rang me after, so he must have been annoyed.
He said, I kept this team in the Football League for 3 years. That's what he said to me.
Guys, you should play that voice note over the thing.
I don't know if it's a bit rude.
Mate, you have to play that voice note.
We'll check it out on the...
Check it out.
So Jamie played in the charity game that we did last year, last year at Shrewsbury.
Oh, yeah. We're not talking...
Not the best of days for Sam.
He left me some amazing voice notes on WhatsApp. Without me texting him, just randomly voice noted me about how ready he was for the game and what he expected from his teammates and my selection problems. But yeah, we'll have a look at those at the break and see if we can...
I remember one of the quotes was, "You better be picking me instead of Stuart Drummond." That's what he said, didn't he?
Yeah, then it was followed by, "I'm not having a patron decorator ahead of me in the team."
And he said, "Put me in centre mid, Dave, I'm fit as fuck." And after 10 minutes in the game, he went to me, he went, "Sam, I'm shattered."
So that dressing room at the time, then when you came through, who were the older boys who you kind of looked up to? Who's your mates in the dressing room?
So at that time, there was Kevin Seabury. This is going back a while.
What's his mate?
Yeah, Gareth Hamner. He was playing Pete Wilding. So all the local lads that were in there, older pros.
Good old lads.
And I was obviously a young lad, 16, so it was a real eye-opener going into that dressing room, listening to the stories that these lads were saying, the things they were getting up to. Then Sam arrived, and
I was on loan. I come on loan, didn't I?
Yeah, you come on loan.
In my black Celica, like I ride it.
The first, there's a funny story with that. The first time I met Sam, we were playing away somewhere. I can't remember where it was, Sam, but we were on the
My
coast.
debut, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, your debut. And we'd signed this lad who was promising, going to be the next Ryan Giggs, apparently.
Good looking.
Ugly fellow, but he could play football. And he gets on the coach, and I'm sat at the front because I was at 16, but I was starting. And I had to make all the teas, I had to do everything for the older lads. So I was making all the teas. Sam gets on, comes and sits by me, we start chatting away. He goes, oh, so you're only 16, you're playing and stuff. I said, yeah, I've got in the team. 20 minutes passed, Sam stands up, turns around to the lads and goes, I've just been sat by this lad, he tells me you lot are all shit.
And I said, and he's told me he's the best player on the bus, you know? But they didn't really know you, didn't really know me either, did they?
No. Dave, I got battered.
In hindsight, I didn't help you out there. No. It got me into the group anyway.
So who was the manager when you first got into the team?
So that was Jake King.
Yeah.
It was Oxford away in the FA Cup, and that was the days of, I think Nigel Jemison was playing for Oxford, and big lanky kid, what was his name? Kevin Francis. Yeah. He was playing for Oxford at the time, so yeah, it was a really good time. Chick took over for a short while, and then obviously Ratcliffe came in then, and then your mate Gary Peters later on. Gary's a friend of ours. Yeah.
My mate. I had a great time with him.
We're not doing a fight story over tonight. I've got time.
No. So your best football at Shrewsbury, you think, come a bit later on under Kevin Ratcliffe, when you was really peaked, because you had a lot of interest in you, didn't you, at that point as well?
Yeah, it was a bad time with that 16, 17, 18. I remember getting calls when I was still in digs at the time, in Monkmore, and I was getting calls on the old Motorola where you had to pull up an aerial. And I remember Bobby Gould calling me up, someone from Leeds calling me up saying, are you coming? Are you going to sign for us? And it was mind-blowing at the time. But yeah, so I had all that interest.
Turned down 400 grand, Trudy, didn't you? I remember. Yeah. 500 grand, sorry, 500. Tell me, if anybody's recording, that was £500,000 for Tom.
Yeah, was that off Cardiff?
That was Cardiff.
Yeah, that was Cardiff, yeah. And there was talk, I've still got the Clattins as well, so...
Dad's got that.
Dad's got them, yeah.
Dad's got them.
There was the Leeds one was a big one. They came in and they were talking about £1 million at the time, and that was in 2000. And
that's good because you didn't let it go to your head.
No, I never mention it.
First time I've heard you talk about it, Tom.
Walked in with a diamond earring in training the next day.
I was on my stag do in Manchester, one of them, and Tom's come over. He's gone, have I ever told you about when Lee's bid £1 million for me? About me tonight, mate.
But yeah, that was probably the best time, Dave. And then with the connection with Kevin, he put me in touch with the Welsh team. Obviously, I looked into it, and my grandma was Welsh, which qualified me. So that was a really good time going away with Wales. Obviously, myself was involved in that. So that was probably the best football I was playing.
Yeah. You talk about Wales. I'm jumping
once you've got some Welsh in you, you're in, basically.
How many caps did you have, Sam? Do you reckon?
Wales.
Yeah, if you're Welsh.
How many do you have?
43.
43. So that's I would have had 129.
But you played for Wales on 21, so you mixed them as well with all there's lads like James Collins was in that squad, Robert Earnshaw, all those sorts of lots. But then that game against Italy. So I was in the youth team at the time, and Nigel Bourne was our youth team manager. He played for Wales as well, and he took us all down to Ninian Park to watch that game, to watch you play, and you scored one of the best goals I think I've ever seen. Yeah. I've tried to find it so hard for you, mate, to get on the screen.
Apparently they still show it, Dave, in the valleys. Every now and then they'll show the goal.
Yeah, Super Sunday, like fortnightly.
But can you describe the goal early on in the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was early on. You actually messaged me earlier saying about the two players that were playing in the.
I was having a look at the squad. So two of the midfielders, one played 200 times for Roma. The other.
Tottenham.
So he played 200 times for Roma, and another one had just been bought at that time for 50 million. That was for AC Milan. That's in 2001. So incredible.
Yeah, some incredible players. Couldn't live with me, Dave. But yeah, so it was early on in the game. I remember it like it was yesterday, as I probably told you all before. And it was a raining. I set the story. I said it. It was raining as well, if you remember. It was obviously skidding off the turf, and a lad who was from Arsenal went down the right. He cut back, and I was shouting for it. I ran off the kid who was 15 million. Couldn't keep up with me. And Virtual's cut it across, but he's cut it across this way, so as you know, it's obviously hard to hit it with your right foot coming from this way. So I let it come across me, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to hit it with my left. So I've hit it, and it's just flown right into the top corner, and it was
arrowed.
Yeah, it was a surreal moment.
Is it better than the one that we're going to show in a minute?
Yeah, maybe. Is this the... What,
the red, we're going to show the red.
It's coming across.
A few belts.
Yeah, probably coming across.
And then the second half, we've got a couple of the goals he scored for Shrewsbury.
Yeah. Obviously scored for you, man.
Did you?
Those are the only ones that did score me. But yeah, but it was good, Dave. Yeah, you were there. You got the bus up, didn't you?
Yeah, me and Joe.
Yeah, you and Joe. Yeah.
Oh,
I think I give you a wave.
And you all went to watch it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good.
I think I give you a wave, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then the tables reversed. And when I came to France to watch the Wales v England, and I was shouting, Dave, and you were fucking blanking me.
I'm sure you had an England shirt on though.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah, so anyway, moving on from Shrewsbury, you had spells at Macclesfield, went to Hereford as well, that had been obviously local for you. When you did sign for Wrexham, how was, with your history of Shrewsbury Town, did you find that difficult at all?
You obviously have that thought straight away. You thought, fucking hell, I'm going to get some shit here.
Yeah.
But like obviously, like Sam was saying, like Moz was saying, at the time you just look at it as a job, and what have I got to do?
Family.
Yeah, family. What have I got to do to keep me afloat, keep me going, keep me playing football? And Dean obviously came in, got in touch with me and said,
Dean Saunders,
yeah, said come down, come and get involved with the lads, and yeah, it just went from there. And Ashley was there at the time. He'd obviously been
Neil Ashley.
Yeah, so it was. I felt it. Like we were playing a few pre-season games, and there was a lot of Wrexham fans that were a bit iffy around me. Probably.
Wrexham fans were funny with you.
Yeah. Well, it didn't help that I'd scored that goal at the race course, and then give it the big one in front of me. Yeah, you scored as well, was that? Yeah.
Probably.
In the 39 you scored.
Do you feel like you had to prove yourself more?
Yeah, massively. I felt that out of everyone else, there was probably more pressure on me to probably prove myself, prove that it didn't really matter, type of thing. I'd like to think I did that, probably not to everyone, but that was when Twitter started, so I was getting loads of shit on Twitter, especially from you lads.
Just check some of these hashtags in the end.
But yeah, it was, you would feel it, and obviously because I'm local as well, I knew what it meant. And we played in derbies where they were at the old stadium, which was obviously this is a magnificent stadium and everything that goes along with it, but that stadium, there's just something else with it. Like a night game under the lights down there, it was just a special time. And I don't know, we seemed to play them in the evening as well.
Yeah,
and it didn't make no sense because everyone could get on the ale, and they had to close. I remember it back in the day. They had to close off shops, board up shops, because everything got smashed up. And obviously, in the games, you could tackle, like you go out.
We've got that in the second half.
Your
yellow card coming up.
Yeah. So it was one of them where you wanted to smash someone early doors, so the fans could lose their heads. But obviously nowadays it's not like that. But Yeah, it was special, those sort of games.
Am I right in thinking, so Dean Saunders, I've got experience with Dino as well, he's an absolute character.
Yeah.
Him being the manager, you went on trial to start off with, didn't you?
Yeah.
And did he kind of ask the lads' opinion, whether you should
Yeah,
sign?
So we went on a pre-season tour, do you remember them? To Aberystwyth.
They're not going to Aberystwyth anymore, lads. They're not going there anymore.
You've got 2 kids there, Moz, you never see. But yeah, it was supposed to be like a team bonding sort of thing, and I always remember the gaffer said, "Oh, go out and have a few pints, just a few, just have a few pints."
That's always
never,
go well.
Yeah, never lasts for a few. And I remember we were sat in this bar. He was down by the pier or something like that. I don't know if he was there, Moss. And I always used to do this thing when I get carried away after a few pints. Like people would walk in the bar, and if it was lads, I'd go boo, get everyone going boo. And if it was girls, we'd all go way. And then I remember this group of women walking in. I probably shouldn't have. And I went, "Oh, it's the strippers!" And everyone jumped up, and Dean was there, and he jumped up, and Dean loved it. And he came over, and we were all sat there, and he went, "So, I'm going to ask you all the question. I want to say yes or no." He went round and he said, "Shall I sign tolls?" Yeah. Went all round the lads, they all said yeah. Got straight on the phone to the chairman and went, "Get tolls a deal when we get back," and I signed. That was it. That was it, mate. So he obviously liked the joke. Well,
How did you find him in general? He was mental, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's such a funny guy. Obviously, you hear him on Talk Sport and doing the things that he does on the TV. But he was a really funny guy, wasn't he? He was just a different type of.
He was like that as a manager, you know, just stories and stuff. We used to have a Friday. Remember the Friday,
Yeah.
like five-a-side, old v young. I don't know if he did it or you in there. He'd play in it. He'd stand on the wing and just flick a few balls in round and stuff like that. And then we'd all be in the canteen afterwards. All the lads would go upstairs. We'd all eat food, and he'd come in afterwards. And one of the reporters was a guy called Mark Curry, and he'd sit there and go, "Right, scores are in, lads. Everybody had to be there. Everyone."
Yeah.
And he'd go through everybody and just hammer them. He'd say, "Saunders 9, outstanding again." Tolly could do better. Back shooting 4 and 10, struggle next week or whatever.
I remember.
And he just went through the whole team, and it was just a comedy sketch for about 20 minutes, and all the lads just used to wait around for it to happen, and it was so funny. And he used to have goal of the day, and he brought in a pair of like shoes that were like size 18 or something like that he got in a bag somewhere and brought them out. That's the goal of the day. And then there'd be a telly that's got like a wireless wire remote control, that old it was. That's for the player of the day. Like it was just really random stuff. Out-of-date beer, and it just gives the lads as trophies, and it just escalated. Do you know what I mean? Brilliant.
He did all of that as well. We'd have an away trip, so we'd do the Friday games, get on the bus, and he would get down on the front with the mic, and he'd do exactly that. Dave Edwards, didn't see him. And then he would give a man of the match, and he would just come up with a prize. One day it was a bag of Slazenger golf clubs, the next day it was a DVD player, and he just give out these prizes for best player.
Donny, best player, one of his first sessions, Donny, he got a guy horse box with a horse in the back.
Yeah, he was exactly like you picture. He was fantastic. Well, I remember. Well, there was loads of stories, Moss, where he's gone on about how much money he had.
He used to do that all the time with us when he was manager. So he'd drop his wallet and go, "Watch yourselves, lads, go and trip over that."
So there was a time at Wrexham that Moss touched on where they were going through a few issues with payments for the players and whatever, and he pulled us all in. And we obviously had some lads that had mortgages to pay, had their kids. They were worried, genuinely worried about where the money was going to come from. And we were stood there, and it was a real tense time, weren't it? There was a couple of them that were proper pissed off with it. And we stood there, and he said, "Lads, listen, I know what you're going through. The money should be in there." He said, "You know, I'm down to my last 3 million.
Imagine seeing it, you just like, read the room in it, read the room.
There was another story that I had with Dean where we played a game on a Saturday, and I think we had a big game on a Tuesday, and he said, "Listen, lads, no one to go out on the Saturday. Big game coming up, training session Monday, blah, blah, blah. So I was living with Joe at the time, Joe Hart, and I think he got tickets or been given tickets to the National Television Awards, and he said, "Told you come in?" I said, "Yeah, of course I'm coming." So this was on the Saturday night, and I thought I'll go, and I'll just, you know, be inconspicuous in there. No one even know who I am. So I've come into training on the Monday.
And he's told no one to go out.
He's told no one to go out.
No one goes out. No one goes out.
No one goes out.
Game Tuesday.
Yeah, we've got a big game. So we go into training Monday. We go out to the pitch. We're all stood round. The gaffer's going, "Yeah, so lads, how was the weekend? What did you get up to on the Sunday? What did you do?" A few of the lads are going, "Oh yeah, I went for a walk, gaffer. Had a swim, did some stretching, you know, all that shit." And I'm stood at the back, you know, trying to keep myself to myself. He went, shouted, "Tolls, what did you do?" I went, "Nothing, gaffer, nothing." He went, "You're fucking lying." You were at the National Television Awards, I saw you on the fucking TV.
Sorry, gaffer.
He was
We can talk forever. Let's just show quickly FA Cup stories. You had the amazing game against Everton, but probably the highlight of your FA Cup career has got to be this goal in the second round, was it? Against Brentford?
Took us into the third round.
Took you into the third round.
What's the third round? He's coming. Where's he?
You're supposed to be on the halfway line, weren't you?
Oh, that's right. The celebration.
No, there's a story behind that.
Yeah,
there is a good story behind that.
I think it shows it again, so...
Can we slow it down?
Celebration. You can talk about that, or is
Yeah,
it?
so that was one of the young lads that we had in the team. He'd done his knee.
Yeah, yeah.
Was.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was in I think he had a knee brace on. You obviously know about knees, mate. He'd done his knee, and he got hold of this bird, hadn't he? And he was only about 18. Not the best looking fellow, was he? And so he was made up, he got hold of this bird. And he was staying in the house with, I think it was 4 others of the players, wasn't it? And he left his door open, schoolboy. And so he's laying there with his knee brace on, and this girl's obviously doing what she's doing.
It's a bit much for part one, isn't it? They get a couple more pints and go for it.
So yeah, so she's doing what she's doing, and he's coming the next day buzzing about it. The lads have all seen it, and then they called it a stiff bang. They called it. So he was obviously just laying there with his knee brace on. I think he was in shock. And then we said, "Listen, if we score, we've got to do the stiff bang."
Jamie's Olive.
Right then, going over to my mate, big goalie on the far side. You right, mate?
Alright, are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
I don't know if I'm going to follow Tolly, by the way.
You'll be alright, mate, you'll be alright. So you come on loan to us, didn't you, at Shrewsbury when we got relegated? So that was 2003. Well, what was that like when you come on loan? So Kevin Ratcliffe's the manager?
Yep. How old have you been then in 2003?
12.
12. And still the loudest person in the
Yeah.
and
Still having himself.
Him going on about, "Oh yeah, Leeds are coming in from before." I promise you, I'll remember it. Because it was like you and it was Luke.
Especially because you were a new audience, you walked in the door and Tony was like, here's a new person, let's tell them about Leeds.
Sit Holty next to me.
No, it was strange because it was obviously, the team was struggling a bit. I came in and I remember we went into, I think, a hotel and we had a meeting where the gaffer was saying, "Here's the next list of games. We want to predict what we're going to get."
I mean, that is ridiculous, pointless.
I know, because are you going to say you're going to lose a game? Yeah. We'd look at a game away and go, if we get a draw,
we'll lose that 4-0 gaffer.
You're right as well. But no, to go and do that, it was a strange setup. And I remember the training sessions as well. The training was quite funny, really, because there was the assistant, Dave Fogg, yeah. And he was proper old school. So your warm-up was literally jog across the pitch, jog back, and you're ready to train. You're like, wow, this is really quite old school, and then you do 5-a-sides, whatever you do, and then there was a walk of about 200 metres to the changing rooms, and by the time you were walking off, all the cars were driving out. You could see all the dust going, and you're like, wow.
That was Scat, wasn't it? You would know Scat, you wouldn't know that.
Oh, thank you. But no, it was strange, it was difficult, it was a tough time because again, because the team were losing, it's difficult to try and get the morale going, get the players going, and trying to find something, some kind of spark. Like I said, trying to get a tackle in, anything to make the game change was difficult.
You have a good set of lads up.
To be fair, great set of lads. Again, you were the loudest, which is weird because you were the youngest. But I remember we were doing a training session, and then afterwards there was you and Luke Rogers, like as if you wanted to fight each other, going, "We're going to have a race because I'm faster than you," and Luke was going, "No, I'm faster than you," and then sprint like 100 metres. I'm like,
who won?
I can't remember. Did you win? I think Sam actually won. But no, like Ryan was there. It was a really good set of lads.
But and then also we had the older crew of Jensen, Mark Atkins, Ian Ward. We had a real. It was a strange group, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because there wasn't then sort of 27, 28-year-old lads. There was you either 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, and then 34, 35, 36. Which didn't help the team, did it? Because you saw like lads who weren't quite ready to play first team football, and older lads who were past their best, and it just didn't quite work, did it, that season?
No, but like I said, the talent there was definitely there. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like
huge talent.
Ian Ward in training was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Left foot and wand, and it was like, yeah, like I said, it was difficult to try and there was no middle ground. There was no. I said it was either old or young, and it just didn't seem to gel, unfortunately.
How do you find Kevin Ratcliffe as a manager then? Because he's not particularly liked in Shrewsbury, is he, for various reasons? Main one being they got the team relegated out of the Football League. How do you find him?
He was definitely different. Again, you have different managers and you go, they're good managers. Some are man managers that we've had before. Neil Warnock when I was a kid, and he was unbelievable. He would literally, after the game on Saturday, you wouldn't see him until Thursday after mid-session, and he'd come out on the training session, he'd let his dog run on the pitch, and he'd go, right, start running set pieces. And you go, where's that come from? And then before a game, he was so superstitious, he'd have a glass of brandy with a raw egg in it, and you had to drink it before you went on the pitch.
What?
The players? Or
I'm not even joking.
the players?
The players. We're there. I'm like 18 going, I'm joking.
Don't like brandy or eggs.
On the pitch, and then he had these dry fronts that still haunt me to this day. He literally stood up with his leg cocked up, giving you a ball in these dry fronts, and I'm going, put a towel on this. Give me a chance, and I can't remember something. So yeah, but he was a man manager, so if you won on Saturday, he'd have Monday off, and then you train Tuesday, and you have Wednesday off, and that's brilliant. Whereas with Kevin Ratcliffe, it just, so again, if I come into a team that are losing or not full of confidence, it's going to be difficult to a manager to impress or do something where you go, you can see he's trying to do the right things. But like I said, it seemed that the training was short, really brief. It wasn't anything tactical, it didn't seem. It was all 5-a-sides, having a game against each other, smashing each other, etc. And then off you go, your job's done. So that was
old school from Everton, though, because Peter Reid was the same. You know, obviously, Everton were hugely successful in that period with Kevin Ratcliffe and Peter Reid, and that's the way they trained. So we had that at Sunderland, like that's what training was like, and Kevin Ratcliffe did the same then, which was fine when you're winning, but then when you're losing, you have to try and change something. He couldn't do it. Kevin Ratcliffe couldn't do it. Then he was just like, "Why are you lot all so shit? Like, just pass the ball to one of your teammates. What's the problem, Sam?" Like, I'm trying. But it's just.
But no, yeah, like I said, if you win it, it's great. But if you are struggling, and you've got one mindset that you go, it's old school. There's no other way to do things. It is difficult. Jamie's talking about the players of today as if he's 60 years old. It is, because it's so different. You look at the game now. And
he is old. It's Botox and hair dye.
But no, again, the game, even from when we played, it's so different to now. Again, all playing out from the back that we would never even dream of, because you get sucked immediately. If the goalkeeper passed to you, and you passed it back, you're going, what are you doing when you get off the pitch? Whereas now, it's totally different, and everyone's playing for the back, which is great, unless you've not got the players that can do that. So, but even tackling's a big thing, getting the crowd going. You can't really do that. People talk about captains, even in the Premier League, you look at the captains like Roy Keane and people like that, they don't exist anymore in football. They're not around. They can't be because they get sent off every game. A captain has to be something different. I don't know what that is because you look at Man United and talk about Bruno Fernandes and he just seems to whinge all game at the ref. And you're going, how's that getting your team going? Are you going to get... You talk about going in the trenches. I don't know if there's trenches anymore. I don't think people, roll the sleeves and go...
You used to pride yourself on that a little bit, didn't you? And when you come to Shrewsbury, you were a bit like that, weren't you? Was in like, come on lads. You were a bit like trying to rally us a little bit, weren't you?
I think only because I remember when I was a kid and I was a YTS at Oldham, I had a coach who was 5'4", who scared the life out of me. He used to hammer me every single day to the point that I nearly quit football. And one of my teammates went in and spoke to him and said, listen, just leave a fault, he's going to quit the game. So he pulled me in and he went, do you know why I bollock it every day? I went, no idea. He went, because I love you and I know you can do better. And then like this penny dropped, I was like, I need to run through brick walls to try and get myself going, because I wasn't technical, I wasn't doing all these fancy step overs and that. I was fit and I could run and I could head the ball, Premiership. Other than that, I had to work hard, and that's why I look at my son when he plays, he just drives me mad, because he's a centre forward, and he'll score a hat-trick and not move, and he's going, how good am I? I'm going, you're killing me, honestly, you've not moved, dog. Because when you don't score, you don't look like you do anything, so again, the game's a little bit different.
So obviously we got relegated that season. Were you then, you played in that game that we lost 2-1, and we'll come to that in a bit. And so you were there for the end, weren't you? So you were there when Kevin Ratcliffe come in the last game of the season. Yeah. You walked in, we got relegated. Kevin Ratcliffe walked in the dressing room, so we're all like, shot to bits. Like, you come in, Kevin Ratcliffe, he just walked in, just went, there's more life in football, lads. Turned around and walked out, didn't he? And that was the last time I spoke to him in like 10 years, wasn't it? And I mean, probably the same for you, I don't know whether
Don't you think it's weird how it affects people, even managers that might be cool and have had all the success? I mean, I got relegated quite a few years later at Northampton. No, it's not me. It's not me.
Unlucky.
Yeah. But no, we played, I remember we got the fixtures out at the start of the season. We had Leeds at the last game of the season. And I went, imagine if we have to beat them to get the playoffs or to avoid relegation. And it turned out that it was avoiding relegation. So last game of the season, full house, and we got beat 3-0. And Stuart Gray was the manager, and he's come at the end and he went, just go home and speak to your families. And then turned around and walked off. I was like, okay.
Nothing else to say, though,
there isn't, because you're literally, what are you going to say? You're going to fault the players when you're relegated, or you're going to try and give them some uplifting spirit that it's not the end of the world?
That season was so mental, though, wasn't it? I always go on about it. I was the first year YTS, and like Tom, Sam, obviously you're all in it. That amazing cup run. 21 years yesterday, the Everton game, wasn't it? One of the greatest days in Shrewsbury's history. And we had so many games in hand because of the weather and the cup run. And it's like, oh, it's okay, we've got 4 games in hand. And then they just started to win them away.
That was like, we've got 7 games in hand, like, or 5 games in hand, 3 games in hand, or 2 games in hand.
And the results just didn't come today. It was just, in January, you'd have never said you'd been in that situation.
Shouldn't have been really, but I suppose it was the wrong plan. So anyway, so then you went to Wrexham. You had a really successful time at Wrexham, played the Millennium.
Yeah, it was good. 2 seasons. It was 2 good seasons where the club was completely different to obviously as it is now. In the reason that we were having financial troubles, the chairman was a guy called Hamilton. Who again, if you speak to Wrexham fans, I remember playing 1 game genuinely, and they were talking about there being no money at the club, and after each home game, that's when we get paid in a brown envelope because they had no cash at the club. So again, you've got families, people with kids like myself, and we're going, we're getting paid, and we're not sure. And we'd have to wait, get showered, and literally wait an hour or 2 after the game for them to like top your 2s and 5s. Like
different
like
what you expect from professional football, isn't it? You just think, everyone's going, professional football must be amazing, and what car that you drive a wonderful car, or what, and I'm waiting to get paid in a brown envelope 2 hours after the football.
Yeah, well again, you look at it how it is now in comparison, it's ridiculous. We were in League 1 at the time, and in the conference they're getting paid 10 times.
Probably a good thing though, mate, if you'd gone to Vegas, end of the season, you'd still be there now, mate.
Yeah, maybe. But I was saying about the German, there was 1 home game where you never really notice the fans. You can hear them, but you don't really, unless they're really digging you out. And then there was 1 game where there was just a commotion, you're like, what's going on? And the chairman had got into the home fans at the end to try and explain his situation during the game. And you're going, what are you going to explain to a group of fans watching the game going, can I just have a quick word? Just stop the game a second.
So when you were at Wrexham, you played a couple against the Shrewsbury, we'll come on to them again, didn't we? So you played, so listen to this, so you played for Shrewsbury against Wrexham, and you lost.
Correct.
And you played for Wrexham against Shrewsbury, and then you lost.
Yeah.
And you played for Wrexham against Shrewsbury again, and you lost.
Yeah.
You played 3, lost 3, and then...
Well, I realised that when I went to Wrexham, I could end up on a podcast in Shrewsbury.
Exactly. Playing a long game, isn't it?
And finally it's paid off.
Have you got any good FA Cup memories or what you think about Sunday?
I love the FA Cup, but again, it is one of those where you play higher teams and you do not care at all.
Exactly.
It's a freebie, and especially with Wrexham doing well in the league. If they can get beat and go, don't worry about it, we're still doing well in the league, that's what we're focusing on. Whereas Shrewsbury, it's a tough game, great win on Saturday 3-1, but to come against Wrexham where, again, the most confident person in the room said we're going to draw. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough game, like I said, it's one of those where every fan of every club would want the backing that Wrexham have got. Because when you've got it, you love it, you don't realise, maybe not appreciate it. And I don't know what their feelings would have been like when they first came in, because again, you look at it and go, what would the reaction be? Whereas now they don't care. Like I said, they're selling out every game, they're going to... they were saying there's a pub next door that I used to go to the games and do the commentary or whatever, and you'd meet at the pub at 12 o'clock for a 3 o'clock kick-off, and there was no one in that pub. And I went the other week at 12 o'clock. And
So you went and watched Wrexham the other week? Well, that's how you came to Shrewsbury game?
Answer.
Maybe not.
This can't laugh it off.
So, anyway, I went to the pub, was absolutely rammed, and the landlord was saying, even through the week, Monday to Friday, they will have 50 to 60 people from Canada and America in that pub every day.
Yeah.
This is where they are. So
Amazing.
what they've done, like I said, it was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was at the game, Ryan Reynolds, and for an hour and a half before the game, he's walked around the whole stadium doing pictures, autographs, everything with the fans, and I'm going, what a guy.
Yeah,
He doesn't need to do that, but to do it, again, it buys favour, obviously.
When you get Roland to do that. Tell him, text him now. Yeah, amazing. So gives you a prediction?
I'm going to go for a draw.
Thank you, Andy Hull, everybody.
Guys, just before we thank the lads, just a quick shout out. We've got die-hard Shrewsbury Town support and in the stiff supporter Nick Jones. I know, is it your son is it his 16th birthday today? What's your name, young man? Oh, Zane, absolutely embarrassed. Sorry, mate. Happy birthday to Zane, everyone. Sorry, Zane. Make sure you buy him a drink at the interval. And just to say as well, obviously the guys, you know, they're all friends of ours, but it still means that, especially Holy, they have to come from the moon. You know, they drive here on a Friday night. They've got loads going on with their families, obviously with the work that they do. Just want to give a round of applause to the guys for coming over this evening. Thank you, boys.
Zach, sorry about Tolly's language, Zach.
Zach, the stiff bang. Remember that?
Zane, ignore that as well.
Forget that. Guys, we're going to break for about 20 minutes. Grab yourselves a drink.
I'll say to the bar staff as well to keep serving in the second half so you can get a drink as well. So we're going to be showing a few bit of video footage as well so we can keep that going because Dave's paranoid about his £100 deposit.
See you in 20, guys.